Women educators are natural givers, pouring into their students, their families, and communities. But what about pouring into you? This is the Educator Sanctuary, where we help you ditch the guilt and unapologetically put yourself at the top of your list. I'm Dr. Leah, educator, mindset coach, and your guide to creating a life where you align with your purpose and reclaim your power. So if you're ready to set boundaries and step fully into the woman you're meant to be, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it.
And welcome back to the Educator Sanctuary, the space where we have big conversations and mindset shifts, personal growth, and intentional actions that help us show up as our highest and best selves. I'm Dr. Leah, and today we're diving into leadership, specifically how you can lead with influence, whether you're an educator, a homeschool mom, social worker, or leading somewhere in your community. The reality is that leadership is all around us. It's in every role that we play, from the classroom to the dinner table, and the way we show up impacts those that we lead. Today, we will explore how to understand your leadership style and how to harness your unique abilities in order to lead and inspire. Leadership is something that I believe we all have in us. It is really just a matter of tapping into it. For me, I've known from a very young age that I was a leader. I am the oldest of a lot of siblings, so I found myself taking charge of situations, even when I didn't want to, guiding my younger siblings. But also, I found a place even in my neighborhood where I once created a talent show where I organized everything from the auditions to how we were going to set up the show, how many chairs we would need, who we wanted to invite, what type of snacks we would have, who I was going to delegate to even do the snacks, and those actually were adults. I literally had the entire community involved. I don't think I was any older than 8 at the time, but that was my first glimpse into leadership at a time when I didn't necessarily know that it was actually leadership. For me, it was fun to be able to create events and bring people together and just share my vision and watch it all come to life. Fast forward to my time as a teacher, a mentor, a coach, an entrepreneur, and now micro school founder. Leadership has always been a thread that has tied all of my experiences and life together. But leading for me did not happen just in a classroom, and it definitely didn't happen just as a mom. It was for me about the ability to affect change. I wanted to encourage people to grow. I really love inspiring people to take action, especially if those actions are going to lead them to a better place in life. I really do feel like that is my gift and my purpose. So for you, whether it's guiding your students or encouraging your children to be independent thinkers, you're leading. Whether it's motivating a group of teachers or volunteers, you're leading. In this episode, I really want you to think about your leadership role. Whether you're a mom guiding your children through challenges at home, whether you're a teacher helping to unlock your students' potential, or whether you're a community leader inspiring others to reach new personal levels in their life, the leadership is going to look different for all of us, but I believe that the principles of leadership, they pretty much all remain the same, at least to me. But when it comes to leading, understanding your unique leadership style, to me, is pretty much essential if you're going to lead with influence. I don't think that there's a one size fit all. I definitely believe that the leaderships are absolutely molded to fit like our personalities and strengths and environments. But I also believe that we can adapt to those different environments and different people as well. That said, there are some very common leadership styles, and some people say there's 4, some people say there's 7, some people say there's 8, right? There's a lot of leadership styles. I pretty much have narrowed down the few that I want to talk about because they're just the ones that I see the most in many different environments. So, for one, there's the autocratic leader. We've all seen this person, right? And it is the type of leader who likes to make decisions and expect people to follow through on those decisions without much input from others. They are the people, they like to take control. They prefer a very clear hierarchy, whether it's in the classroom or at home. They love to give direct orders and they just want people to follow them exactly like they said it, and do not go outside of the lines. These types of leaders might find themselves becoming frustrated when others don't do things exactly how they ask or challenge their instructions. For example, there's a phrase that I've heard some people say, and it's like, when I say jump, you say how high. I consider that to very much be the autocratic leader. Like, there's just literally no wiggle room. They just want what they want, when they want it, how they want it, and that's what they expect people to deliver. Then there's the democratic leader. They love the people. They like the collaboration. They love engaging people in the decision-making process. They want people's opinions and ideas. They're not afraid to let others take charge in some situations. So in the classroom or homeschool environment or in a community environment, this might look like asking students or children their feedback and allowing others in different key positions to help create the structure for a project or event or an activity. Then we have the visionary leader. Now, this is the big picture thinker, right? Now, if I had to think back, I'm like, maybe I was a visionary leader at a very young age because I just had a clear vision of Hey, Educator Sanctuary listeners. Are you a homeschooling mom or thinking about it, but feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or maybe unsure how to confidently guide your child's learning journey? Maybe you're craving time for self-care, rest, or just a break, but you feel like you're doing it all on your own without anyone to turn to for help. Let me introduce you to Purpose Prep Academy, an online and in-person STEAM microschool for learners in grades K-8. Purpose Prep Academy isn't just any school. It's a space where young minds are nurtured, empowered, and taught to lead with confidence, curiosity, and purpose. Purpose Prep Academy focuses on providing students with the academic tools they need while fostering personal growth to help them thrive both inside and outside the classroom. At Purpose Prep Academy, they offer personalized learning, foster critical thinking, and provide real-world applications to help students become 21st century leaders and change makers. If you're looking for a program that can help you reclaim your time, give you peace of mind, or simply give your child a space to thrive, Purpose Prep Academy could be exactly what you've been looking for. Want to learn more? Visit purposeprepacademy.org to schedule a virtual meeting or an experience day and find out if Purpose Prep Academy is the right fit for your family. What I wanted, and I was really good at persuading people to pretty much take part in that. They inspire others to come along on the journey. So in education, this could look like inspiring students to believe in themselves and pursue their passions, helping them see beyond the here and now to what's possible. I still think that's very much to me today. Even when I look at the mission statement of my school, that is totally me. There's the transformational leader. That leader focuses on motivating and inspiring people to grow, develop, and become the best versions of themselves. They lead by example, and then they encourage other people to push beyond their limits, striving for continuous improvement. Very much like the visionary leader, but I believe that the visionary leader just has the vision and they inspire people to come along on the journey, where a transformational leader is physically pushing and encouraging people to take action. And then there's the servant leader, which I honestly didn't really learn about until I was in college, but they actually put others' needs first. So they prioritize the well-being and growth of the people that they lead. They might like to take a back seat. They might want to push other people out in the spotlight, and they don't mind not being the person who gets credit for something that they know that they did. The servant leadership is all about service. Like, they just want to ensure that their team and their students and their community have what they need to succeed. And they can rest in the joy and comfort that they did it, but also that no one needs to know that they did it. That absolutely, for me, is probably one of the most rare types, because I do believe that a lot of people want to take credit. But yeah. So now you might be thinking, okay, how do I influence? How can you use that now? Right? So I believe it's all about knowing yourself and understanding how to leverage your leadership style to create the most positive impact. So when I think about my leadership journey, I can actually pinpoint moments that shaped me. And I've definitely had a lot of leadership roles in my life. Lots of where I took charge, but so many more where I was actually chosen, whether I was a known person who could do the job or whether no one knew me and it was a random group project at a professional development conference and they're like, hey, you look like you should do it. And I used to always wonder why people would choose me. Like, you don't even know me. I never even told you my name. Like, why do you think that I'm the person for this? But there must have been something within me that just possessed this strong leadership ability, so much so that others can feel it. Like, they felt that energy. And so one of the turning points for me was when I had the opportunity to lead over about 100 or so volunteers at a Chicago Cares event. It was a defining moment for me because it definitely was not a role that I signed up for or asked for. And I was actually afraid that I wasn't going to be able to do a good job. Now, at this time, I was pretty young. Like, I was in my very early 20s. And I wanted to be able to do a good job, but I was afraid because the volunteers were probably all older than me. Some of them could have been my mom or dad. And it was like I had to lead them to get not one project or two projects done, but 3 projects. It was a long day. So I had to get them to do these 3 projects. And then at the end of the task, we would all be like bused to this area where everyone would get to celebrate their efforts. I didn't know if I could do a good job, especially not with leading 100 people. But at the same time, it was like, okay, someone believed in me enough to do it. So let me just borrow their belief and just show up and just do the best that I can. And if I didn't know something, just don't tell anybody, right? So what I learned that day is that I didn't need to tell people what to do. As I stated a little bit ago, most of those people could have been my mom or dad or grandmother. So I didn't need to walk around managing 100 people. That's probably impossible to do anyway. But what I did need to do was inspire them to have confidence in themselves. I needed to create that intrinsic motivation for them to be able to take action. And most importantly, I needed to be able to inspire those people to create a ripple effect that would impact not only the activity or community events that we did that day, but beyond that event. Now, on a day-to-day basis, you absolutely do not need to be leading 100 people every single time you show up. So whether that's in your home, in school, in your community, whether it's 1 person, 5 people, or 10, it's really just about being intentional in your actions, like understanding your leadership style, leaning into it, and then making these positive choices that's going to build trust, confidence, and connection within people. And I can't say that enough. It's the trust, the confidence, and connection. When people trust you and they have a connection with you, there typically is more buy-in from them to be able to get some of these things done that you want without having to micromanage them. I want to be able to encourage you to think about what type of person you are. Like, am I the type of person who likes to give instruction and want people to do it exactly how I want it? But then when it comes to how I like to receive leadership, I don't really want anybody telling me what to do. And honestly, I know people like that. They want to be the director, but they don't want to be directed. So when it comes to your leadership styles, do you have those conflicting characteristics? How do you actually show up as a leader? How do you want people to lead you? How do you inspire others to take action? How do you want people to inspire you? Is your style helping people become more confident, capable, and empowered? Or is your style more demeaning and crushes people's spirits? How do you want that leadership to be given to you? And I'm asking you these questions because I want you to really reflect, journal about them by all means if you need to, but basically take the time to learn, like, if you know that you don't necessarily have the leadership style that's more encouraging and more empowering, then what things can you do to change it so that your style can be more impactful? I really think the key to leadership is showing up with intention and purpose in everything that you do, in making sure that in your leadership that the common goal is shared with the people that you're leading in order to get them to a better place. So as you reflect and go into this deep dive, what would you say your leadership style is based on the descriptions? Is it more autocratic? Is it more democratic? Are you a visionary? Is it transformational? Or are you a servant leadership? What are the strengths of the type of leadership style that you bring? But then what are those challenges or areas of growth that you need to have in a leader? And I should have said this first, but every episode I always give homework. And so these questions, the first three that I gave, like how do you describe your style, the strengths of your style, the challenges that you need to grow in. And the other two questions would be, if you think about a time that you have led or influenced others, like what was the impact and how did you inspire change? Or if it didn't go well, what didn't go well and what could you do differently next time? And then what actions can you take to attempt to lead more people with influence and purpose? And if you are actually not in a position where you have influence, then you have the opportunity to be able to create those things, whether it's in a community volunteer position, whether you want to show up to take responsibility more, like if you go to church or something like that, if there are opportunities to sit on boards, if there's events in your neighborhood, what actions can you take to lead with more influence and purpose? That could even be showing up on your social media channels. Some of you have a lot to say. Some of you have a lot to share, but you're afraid to press record. You're afraid to get on camera. You're afraid to put yourself out in front of the masses. But when we talk about making this intentional change and shifting to be the highest and best versions of ourselves, part of that is, again, as I'll always say, doing these uncomfortable things that we probably don't want to do, but need to do to get to our next levels. So as we wrap up today's episode, remember that leadership is a journey, definitely not a destination. I always believe that you have everything in you to lead with influence. The key is always growing, reflecting, and showing up intentionally. And again, it doesn't matter where you lead. And speaking of leading, if you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another fellow educator, leader, or mom who could use some inspiration. Leaders definitely don't gatekeep. Until next time, keep leading with influence, and remember, you are already the leader that someone is waiting for. Don't forget to press record sometime this week and go out and share your gifts with someone else. Or if it's not online, don't forget to make yourself helpful in leading somewhere in your house, in your church, in your school, or in your community. Thank you for joining me in the Educator Sanctuary, where we create a space for women educators to reclaim their power and prioritize themselves unapologetically. If you've loved what you've heard, please do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with other amazing women who need to hear this message. Until next time, remember, you are capable, you are powerful, and you are absolutely worthy. You've got this. Talk soon.